Okay, so currently you are applying for the positions, right?
Yeah, I'm applying positions continuously.
For associate or software engineer position. Hi folks, කොහොමද? ඉතින් ඔයත් මේ දවස්වල ඉන්ටර්වියු එකක් බලන් ඉන්න කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, fresh graduate කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, එහෙම නැත්නම් experience තියෙන developer කෙනෙක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඔයගොල්ලෝ හැමෝටම ගොඩක් ලොකු advantage එකක් වෙයි කියලා හිතනවා මේ වීඩියෝ series එක. මීට අමතරව interviews වලදී අහන main concepts explain කරලා මම සිංහලෙන් වෙනම වීඩියෝ series එකක් කරගෙන යනවා. ඉතින් ඒකත් බලන්න. ඒ වගේම mock interview එකකට participate කරන්න ඕන නම් පල්ලෙහින් comment එකක් දාන්න. channel එක subscribe කරලා දිගටම set වෙලා ඉන්න.
I apply both associate and software engineer.
Okay, how much experience overall you have in this JavaScript?
I have experience 1 year experience for the JavaScript.
Okay. So we can start the interview. Basically, the interview will be in 2 parts. The first part, I'll ask some theory-based questions based on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. And then we can go to the coding round. There I'll paste some code snippets. Then you can explain the answer. Finally, I'll give you some small problem to solve. Okay. So I'll start with HTML. So first, can you explain the HTML structure, like how it consists, elements and all?
HTML, like it consists with the head tags and head tag and the body tag. Inside the head tag, we can add the title tags. Like in the browser, you know that in the title of the like project name or something, like we can put it inside the title tag. All the other things in the page we can add inside the body tag, like h1 headers tag and paragraph tag and like image tag. All those things can add it into the like inside the body tag. So that is the structure of the HTML document.
Okay, so when we are using tags, like, did you come across with inline tags or block level tags or something like that in HTML?
Sorry?
So have you heard about inline tags or block level tags in HTML?
Yeah, I have heard inline tags and block level.
Can you explain more about the tags, inline and block level tags?
Inline tags like
Can you give me an example?
we can say, I think style tag is a inline tag. Block other like the image tag, paragraph tags are like all the things are block tags.
Okay. So how we can add the script to the HTML document?
We can add the script tag inside the body tag. I mean, in the last of the body tag, we can add the script tag, adding the href with the link.
So is there any reason we should add it at last?
I didn't think about that. I don't know about that reason.
No worries. So do you know the difference between elements and tags in HTML?
Elements tags are basically like tags are I earlier mentioned that paragraph tag, image tag, those are tags, headers tag. Elements like we can say that inside, as an example, let's take the image tag. In the image tag, we are getting source src. Likewise, those are the elements.
Okay. So in images, we can have the ALT attribute, right? So actually, those are called attributes, not the elements. Elements is something else. So this ALT attribute, do you know the use of this ALT attribute?
Actually, we can use the name of, like, if we take an image as an example, let's say we take a fruit image, so we can put the fruit name of the ALT tag ALT attribute, and when we hover over the image, we can see that name that we put in the ALT tag.
Okay. So then what the title does in image tag?
I didn't get the question.
So then you are saying like when we hover over the image, that text is displayed, right?
Yes.
So there is a title attribute also. So what that do there?
Title attribute. I actually don't remember the title attribute.
Okay, for the ALT attribute, actually we have different purpose. You can check more on that later. Okay,
Yeah.
so how can we create an unordered list and ordered list in HTML?
We can. There's a tag name li tag. Inside the li tag, we can use ul tag for the unordered list, or l tag for the ordered list.
Can you explain the difference between local storage and session storage in Rust?
Local, as I remember, local storage, session storage is when we refresh the page, session is removed. But when in the local storage, when we close the browser, even when we close the browser, local storage is there until we delete that.
So any idea how can we delete it?
We can delete the local storage by inspecting the uh, dev tool, and in the application there is a local storage tab, and in the local storage tab we can click the right click and delete it.
Okay, like is that possible to delete that in the code level? Have you ever tried that?
No, I don't try it. I actually deleted it using the application tab.
Okay, okay. So have you used iframes?
No, I don't have experience with iframes.
Do you know the use of iframes? Like why we have the iframe option? Any idea?
Actually, I think like some website have I have seen some website have like right corner there can be like help desk or something. I think I don't know it is really iframe or not. I think that might be the iframe, like it's like kind of message thing that pop up the screen, and I think that might be the iframe.
Yeah, for those kind of situations we can use iframes, but basically to display another web page inside that web page we are using iframes. So you can check more on that as well. So I'll jump into CSS part. So what are the ways we can have CSS we can connect CSS to an HTML page?
Uh, in the head tag, inside the link tag, we need to add the link of the CSS file. Yeah.
Any other way?
Any other way? Actually, I know about that way, only that way.
Okay, so didn't like haven't you wrote any styles inside the HTML page?
Yeah, I have used like using the style tag, inline
Oh,
style.
inline styles. Okay.
Yes.
So, for example, if I use an external style sheet, and also if I use inline styles,
Yes.
so what it takes, like what has the priority?
Mm, I think the priority will be the inline style tag, because it runs the HTML document, and I think it might be the inline text.
Okay. So, can we override the inline styles by doing something or anything in the external style sheet?
Uh, Override styles.
Basically, I
Actually,
want to apply my styles in the sheet, the external sheet.
yes.
So, So is there any way? Have you ever did that?
Sometimes I I did it, but actually in this moment I can't remember that.
Okay. So, have you used Z index?
No.
What kind of position properties you have used in your projects?
I have used positions like you asked like relative,
Yeah.
absolute position. Yeah, I
So
have
can
used.
you explain the difference between relative and absolute?
Uh, Actually, as I remember, when we want to use like comparely with the page, like I mean the we can use as an example. Let's see, there's a div tag, and inside that div tag there's another div tag. We need to take let's say keep the right side of the web page. So we can use both absolute and relative tags. Uh, in the parent div tag, we can use the absolute, and in the child div tag, we can use the relative. So doing the other styles like right or those things, we can position that child div in the right hand side of the web page.
Okay. Okay. So have you used ever like the position fixed or position sticky, these properties?
No, I actually don't use.
Okay. Okay. So suppose there is an element inside a div. I want to make it to the center of the web page. So how can I do that in CSS?
We can uh, center it like justify center and the item center. So in the parent div, uh, we can add the justify center and the item center. Using that, we
Okay.
can center it.
So will it work if I just add justify content center so for a normal element? Do you think it will work?
Justify center like uh, horizontally.
Hmm.
So we'll center the div, child div horizontally when we use the justify content center.
Yeah. Okay. But not only like it's not enough. Like we need to add some more stuff before justify. So have you heard about flexbox?
Yes, Flexbox.
So in the display property, we need to add flex.
Yes,
So grid
display box.
basically to justify, right? So you have
Yes.
used flex only flex, or you have used both grid and
I
flex.
have I have used both grid and Flex.
What's the difference between grid and flex?
In Flex, we can like let's get an example like there's a parent div and inside the parent div there are two divs. So we when we add the flex for the parent div, it will position like horizontally the those two child divs. So as I remember grid, we can like positions not only for in the flex we can position rather more than two divs, and also in the grid also we can position more than two divs. And difference when talking about the difference, actually we can I think as I remember in the grid we can uh, position like uh, uh, not only the horizontal, but we can also position it also vertically in the grid as I remember.
So we can do that with the flex as well, right?
Yes, flex call
Flex
column, I think.
column, flex direction column. So. but your answer is partially correct. It's about the dimension. Like flex is one dimensional. At one time you can
Yes.
do for row or for column, but in grid it's two
Yes.
dimensional. At the same time you
Two
can have
dimensions.
both rows and columns. Okay. So the next question is like how can we disable an element in the HTML page using CSS? Basically, like we need to do nothing when user click or hover or anything in the basically how can we disable them?
As I remember in the CSS class, there's called disable property. So we can use that disable property.
Okay, so do you have any idea like in the CSS level what it does?
Um, Actually, as you said, when we want to disable like a button or can't click that button, then we use the disable and hover it will when we hover it, it will show like a small red icon. So yeah.
Okay, so have you used media queries?
Yes, I have used media queries.
So what is the use of it?
uh, we use media queries for purpose of the responsiveness.
All right. So can you explain the difference between display and visibility, like display none and visibility hidden?
Display on visibility hidden. Mm. When we use the display on, I think it if we use inside if we use a div, when we use the display none property in that div, it doesn't show the web page. When we use the display none, visibility hidden. Actually, I don't have idea about that visibility.
Okay, okay. All right. So let's jump into JavaScript now.
Yeah.
Like before that, can you rate yourself out of 10, like where you stand? You think?
Actually, long time I use the CSS. I think in the university time I use the CSS. So actually, I
Yeah,
some of the
I'm
things
asking
I
about
don't.
JavaScript. So I'm going to
Uh,
go for the JavaScript. So, like, can you rate yourself from JavaScript? Have you frequently using the JavaScript?
yes, I can rate 8 out of 10.
Okay. Uh, okay. So first, can you explain the difference between var, let, and const?
Uh, var and let we use those three of them are used for declare variables. So var and let we can use for if we need to change the value of those variables, we can use var and let. I think the var is not used frequently nowadays. In the const, if we declare a variable with the const, we can't change the value of the variable when we use the const.
Okay. What about pre-declaration?
Pre-declaration,
Yeah. So when it comes to
uh, I have no idea about that.
so basically, if you define a variable with let's say let and const, so
Yes.
can you redeclare it?
Uh, you asked redeclaration.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. When we use let keyword, we can redeclare. But when we use const, we can't we I think we can't redeclare it because const variable is we cannot change the value. So yeah,
Okay. So with the const, can we update the value?
we cannot update the const value. when we use the const.
Okay, okay. All right. So have you heard about the hoisting concept in JavaScript?
Sorry, I didn't get.
The hoisting concept.
Hoisting. I remember the hoisting. Hoisting. I think it's related to the like type or
Not really. So let's discuss about types. So what kind of data types we have in JavaScript?
the types like number, string, boolean. Um, yeah, those are the types of the JavaScript.
Okay, okay. Can you explain the difference between double equal and triple equal?
Uh, double equal is loose uh, loose equivalent sign. Actually, double equal do the type cohesion. Let's say, as an example, if we want to check string 18 double equal and number 18, it will return the true because it uh, do the type cohesion. The number 18 will be converted to the string 18, so it not check the type, it only checks the value. When talking about the strict equal operator, the triple equal, it check both type and the value. It did not it don't do the type cohesion. When we get an example, if there's a string 18 with number 18, it returns the 4 because it its type is different. One is string and other one is number, as
Okay,
it did not do the type cohesion.
correct. Okay. So have you heard about arrow functions? We
Yes,
use.
I have.
So what's
Yes.
the difference between arrow function and regular function?
Uh, in the I can get one difference. Like uh, if we want to uh, first difference is in the arrow function we don't use the function keyword. In the normal function, we use the function keyword, and in the arrow function we use an arrow. And also when talking about the like this keyword, if we use the this we can't use the this keyword in the arrow function, but in the normal function declaration or function expression we can use this keyword.
Okay, but we can use this keyword in both scenarios, but the behavior is different. So
Here
you,
it's
you can
different.
check more on that. Yeah. Okay. So have you used map for each filter these methods in JavaScript?
Yes, I have used those methods.
Okay. Can you explain the map method and for each basically?
Map method, those two methods are for the arrays. um, So in the map method, if we want to get a new array, like let's say there's an array with element 1, 2, 3. So we want to get an array, a brand new array, like 2, 4, 6. So we can use map method. So like that array.map as attributes we can use the current element, and we can return that like that current element uh, into 2, so it will return a new array. It doesn't change the original array. In for each also, it also a method for the array. It also iterate the array, and we can get we can return some results for using the for each also.
So you are saying in for each also we are returning an array.
No, it does not return an array. Map only return the array.
Correct. Okay. So Okay, let's move to the next section. So have you used promises or have you heard about promises?
Yeah, I have used the promises.
So in which occasions we are using promises?
Actually, promise is like it's an object. Like so, in the asynchronous uh, JavaScript, we can use promises. Yeah,
What is asynchronous JavaScript?
asynchronous JavaScript, like as some example, I will take. We can say that there's a code, and this let's assume that first code is synchronous. Synchronous means like it execute the code and it need to execute that line. Uh, it only execute if the previous line is completely execution happen. So in the asynchronous, it will run the background. We call that asynchronous operations run in the background. We called it web API. So normally JavaScript code are running in the core stack. So in the asynchronous, if there's a synchronous operation, normally those asynchronous operations are executing in the web API, and after running completed, execution completed, it goes to the callback queue, and using the event loop, it will move to the execution context for stack, and yeah.
Okay. So, okay, have you heard about closures in JavaScript?
Closures. I have heard about closures. In the moment, I actually don't remember that.
Okay, okay.
So,
So have you heard about the shallow copy and deep copy methods in JavaScript?
as I remember, we can get the shallow copy um, using splice method. I think splice method, we can get a shallow copy. Actually, I don't know the
Okay,
what
no,
is the.
yeah, it's something else. Maybe you can check more on that later. So, sorry, I jump into React now. So you have worked with React, right?
Yes, I have a.
Okay. Sorry, can you explain the virtual DOM and in the concept behind React?
Uh, in the React, in normal JavaScript, it render the full page, but in the React will create a virtual DOM. It actually looks like the original DOM. When there's like slight difference, like we say, yeah, when there's a slight difference in the node, actually the virtual DOM is compared with the original DOM, and it only updated that changed node, and you is gives to the original DOM. Yeah, that's the
Okay. So what's the difference between single page application and multi-page application?
single page application means in the React is a single page application. We can use the components, all the components in one single page, and we can render those components. Multi-page application, I think there can be lot of pages, and it when we need to like refresh those things, those pages, uh, I think there can happen in the multi pages. I
Okay.
actually don't
So,
know
okay,
about it.
okay. Yeah, no worries. So, but in React application also we can have multiple pages, right? So, how we are managing that in React?
Mm, multiple pages.
If you
Um,
check a website, we have the contact page, about page, products, and all,
yes,
right? So, basically,
yes,
we need to do the navigations. So,
yes.
how did you manage that in your
We can use routes for those navigations.
Okay, okay. So can you explain the state and props?
Sorry,
State and props. Can you explain about the state and props?
state and props. Um, State like when there's when we need to update to like uh, one state to another state. Like I mean that actually I will start explaining like props. We can use props like for the components. Like if we use a component, uh, we need to use props, and for the props we can use like values, and we can take those values using the props and renders those pages or components. State also like um, state is like
So have you used functional components or class components? Okay.
uh, I'm using functional components.
Okay. So in those components, how do you access the state inside the component?
I am using hooks, React hooks for access the components.
Which hook you are using to access the state or maintain the state of the component?
Uh, I use the use state hook.
Okay. Now I think you can explain about the state. So what's the state of the component?
Uh, Talking about the use state, actually, use state like it returns an array. So in that array, it has two values. Those two values are like current state and the like set function, and also we can get the initial value as well. So that initial value is matched with the current state, and when there's a render, the renders happens in using the set function. So we can update that state using the set function to another state. Yeah.
Okay. So you told that you are using props to pass data between components, right?
Yes.
So can you pass data from parent component to children components in React?
Uh, Use parent component to children component. Um, I think yes, we can do that.
Okay. So how, like, is it possible to pass data from children component to parent component?
Um, I think it cannot do that.
Basically, we can do that. You can check more on that. So have you heard about prop drilling?
No, I haven't heard about that.
Okay. So, have you used any context management system like state management system like Redux or Context API or something?
In the project, actually, I haven't used like the other state management using Redux, but I have watched some YouTube videos like using how to use
So, do
Redux.
you know the difference between Context API and Redux?
Um, Context API in the Redux, actually, I as my as I remember, we use a different function called like reduce or something like that. Um, in the context API means I think you ask the use context hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can store the any kind of data in the using the context API. So we can access those data like without using through the props. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, can you explain component life cycle?
Component life cycle. Actually, I don't know about that.
So for a React component, for its life cycle, we have some main phases for a React component.
Okay.
So you haven't familiar, you are not familiar with it.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so then I'll ask in this way. So basically, I want to trigger something uh, when some, like, let's say when some updates happen in the page. So
Okay.
how can we do that in React component?
Uh, we can use state to update something, and if there are, I think if there is any other like side defects
Hmm.
happening, can used effect react to.
So what kind of side effects you are talking about? Like for which kind of scenarios we are using use effect?
Let's say I will get an example like simple like counter one. We use like in use state. We need an array like current state as count and the like set function as set count, and we can get the initial values as 0. So in the set function, we need in my scenario, I'll take the incrementer. In the set function, we need to increase the count, and we can render that in the page using the props, uh, the counter one. If we want to like console log the count, we need to use like um, use effect because it's like side effect now. So if we want to handle and see the count using the console, we can use the use effect by rendering the page.
Okay, so inside the use effect, there is something called dependency array. So have you got the chance to work with those kind of
Yes,
concepts? So what is
yes.
it?
In dependency array, in the use effect, if we need to change some thing like uh, if we need to change something, we need to add that inside the dependency array, and we need to take to change change the state using the use effect.
Okay, all right. Have you heard about higher order components?
Um, no.
Okay, all right. Mm, okay. So then, when it comes to the project, your projects, how did you handle the API calling parts in your projects?
Um, I have experience like implement API and also the in the backend and consume API in the front end.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I have only experience with the REST API.
Okay.
So when we implement the API, I have used like HTTP methods like get method, post method,
Mhm.
put method, and delete method. And I have consumed those API in the front end via. Uh, Actually, I have experience in only the Axios, so we can integrate the endpoints using Axios for the front end.
Okay. So you just use Axios. So any other techniques you have used when you fire the API calls in your code dev?
I only used Axios, but I know there are other things like React queries.
Yeah, those are there. I'm talking about like when you fire an API call. So there you should use some techniques in code level, right? Because
Yes,
so can you give me an example, like what kind of techniques?
fetch. We can use fetch method.
Yeah. So these in Axios. So what it returns actually?
In Axios, we can return like we need to pass the backend URL and also headers. Headers means like we if we use like
So
authentication or
yeah,
something.
basically you need to wait for the response, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
how did you manage that?
Um, like as I will give an example, like we can use like get we can declare a variable like let's say like data and we need to do like it need to be an asynchronous operation, so I can use like a wait and uh, using the Axios, we can use Axios if it's a get method. We need to use like Axios dot get, and like inside the parentheses, we need to pass the backend URL and also headers. Like we, if it has authentication, we need to pass the tokens.
All right. Okay. So if there is any error, how can you catch that?
We when we use the Axios, we need to handle the errors using try catch block. Inside the catch block, we need to handle the errors.
Okay. By any chance, you have you used error boundaries in React?
Uh, any other way you ask?
No, no. Like we have something called error boundaries in React. Have you?
No, I haven't heard about it.
Okay. Okay. So with that, I think we can complete the theory round. So I will now share some for